As you know, if you've been following my YouTube channel, I haven't done a YouTube video since October 1st. Yep. Which would make this the longest I've ever gone. Starting with April of 2017. This is the longest I've ever gone in between two videos. My previous longest was approximately 6 weeks. Yeah, this has been 2 months since I did a YouTube video. Matter of fact, I haven't even done a Patreon exclusive video since November 1st. Yeah, November 1st was my first time doing, my last time doing a Patreon, would not include my live streams. I've been doing my live streams regularly, but as far as just standalone video, I haven't done a Patreon exclusive video since November 1st. Why do you wake up in the morning? What motivates you to wake up in the morning? I would really like to know. What motivates you to wake up in the morning? What drives you? What's your driving force? A few months ago, I participated in a live stream on the young brother Bernard Riley's YouTube channel. And I had this young brother, I'll leave out his name for now, but his criticism, it was somewhat lighthearted, but still, his criticism of me was, he said, the problem I have with Alan Roger Currie as a dating coach is that I feel like he's just doing nothing more than selling guys hope. Selling guys hope. And recently I had another brother, just within the last few days, on a YouTube live stream. That was essentially his criticism, although this guy's criticism was more harsh. It had a more harsh tone to it. But he went as far as to call yours truly a fraud and a snake oil salesman. And his basis for that was similar to the first guy. He said basically all Alan Roger Currie is doing is selling guys the hope that they can become better with women. When it comes to expectations, there's 3 levels of desire and expectation that all human beings are going to have. Generally speaking, there's always going to be 3 levels of desire and expectation that people are going to have. At the highest level would be optimistic. Optimistic desires and expectations. Optimistic desires and expectations. Next level down would be realistic desires and expectations. Realistic desires and expectations. And then the lowest level is pessimistic desires and expectations. Pessimistic desires and expectations. So basically, in a nutshell, every human being walking this earth at any given moment in time is going to fall under one of these three categories. You either optimist, a realist, or a pessimist. An optimist, a realist, or a pessimist. The problem I have specifically here on YouTube is that you have a lot of guys who will present themselves as realists that are actually pessimists. They present themselves, they'll say stuff like, hey, don't get mad at me, I just keep shit real. I just keep shit real. No, you don't. You keep shit negative and pessimistic. Why are you still alive? Why do you wake up in the morning? That's what I want to know. I'm 57 years old, which means I've experienced a lot in life. And I'm interacting with a lot of people in my life. Tens of thousands of people in my life. I have never, ever, ever been exposed to so many negative, pessimistic people in my entire life. And that's saying a lot that I'm 57. In my entire life as I have been right here on YouTube. Particularly as it relates to the subject matter of women and dating relationships. Particularly as it relates to the subject matter of women and dating relationships. YouTube, by far, has the most negative, pessimistic people, particularly men, I've ever been exposed to in my entire life. Because see, in my real life, I don't hang around negative, pessimistic people, ever. And anybody who knows me, who's hung around me in real life, they know that. Once I get a sense that you're a negative and or a pessimistic type person, I will disassociate myself from you with a quickness. I don't hang around people like that. Never have. Starting with like middle school, high school. Going all the way up into my 50s. I've never hung around people who maintain a high degree of negative and or pessimistic type attitudes. If I had the power of, what's the guy, the character Thanos from the, the Avengers, Marvel comics, if I could just snap a finger and eliminate a certain group of people, that would be the number one group of people I personally would eliminate if I had the power of Thanos, that glove, that magical glove he had. If I could eliminate, if I had the choice to eliminate a certain group of people, all you negative, pessimistic people that I felt like I couldn't convert you into a more optimistic type person, I would snap my finger and you'd be gone. You'd be gone because you fuck up the earth. You fuck up the earth. You fuck up society. Negative, hateful, pessimistic people fuck up society. Quote me on that. Y'all fuck up society. Again, if I had it my way, y'all all be gone. With the snap of a finger, y'all all be gone. Now, when that first brother said, my problem with Alan Roger Currie is that he's selling hope, what he was implying was that I'm selling delusion, which is totally not true. See, there is a form of optimistic hope that does fall into the danger zone, and that would be delusional hope. There's a difference between hope and delusional hope. Matter of fact, just before I did this video, I happened to browse through an article that I found on the internet that was clarifying the difference between being hopeful and delusional. Being hopeful and delusional. Delusional is when you have a desire for something or an expectation for something that has virtually a 0% chance of happening. That's delusional. Like if I was, right now, I'll give you an example with myself. If I was to go out and tell friends, hey, by this time next year, I'm going to be a starting guard in the NBA. I'm going to be a starting guard in the NBA. I'm going to be playing against guys like Steph Curry and Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul. Yep. I'm going to contact the NBA teams and get them to give me an audition, and I'm going to be a starting NBA point guard. Everybody who I shared that information with would say, Allen Roger Currie is delusional. He's delusional. That would represent me being delusional. Not just optimistic, but delusional. Again, the general definition of delusional is when you have a desire to achieve something, or you have a set of expectations that virtually have pretty much a 0% chance of being achieved or attained. That's delusional. Whereas optimistic is when you have a desire for something or you have a set of expectations that on the positive end, it's possible. It's very well possible for you to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve or expect to achieve. But you have a lot of circumstances that are working against you that's going to make it challenging to achieve, and in some cases, highly unlikely for you to achieve. That's optimism. Again, optimism is when you want to achieve something or experience something, then when you examine all the facts and circumstances that are standing in between you and your goal, you find that those circumstances are going to make it very challenging for you to achieve whatever or experience whatever it is you want to achieve or experience, and in some cases make it seem highly unlikely that you will be able to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve or experience whatever it is you want to experience. That's an optimist. Then right below an optimist is a realist. Right below an optimist is a realist. A realist, again, is somebody who's pretty much right in the middle between an optimist and a pessimist. That's someone who's going to say, okay, if this is what you want to achieve, or this is what you want to experience, it's possible. But 95% chance it ain't gonna happen. Or they might not say it's not gonna happen, but they're gonna say you're gonna have a tough time achieving that. Speaking of, I use the analogy of playing basketball, Steph Curry. Now, when you look at Steph Curry now, he's like a superstar. Some people call him the greatest shooter. But do you know, coming out of college, I was reading an article a few years ago, a lot of people, NBA scouts, told him that it was highly unlikely that he would have a successful NBA career. And there's been a lot of NBA players who had that story. I've read over the years a lot of NBA players who went on to become stars and superstars who said at the time they were about to be drafted, a lot of NBA scouts told them they were going to have a challenging time being successful in the NBA. Steph Curry is one of those. Yeah, they felt like he was too skinny. Among other things, the biggest thing, they felt like he was too skinny, which meant it would be too easy for people to just push him around and basically bully him on the court and he wouldn't be able to get his shot off. Now, a lot of people told Steph Curry, a lot of professional NBA scouts, they told, because what teams do, NBA teams, is they rely on scouts' assessment to help them determine who they should draft. So that's where scouts fit in. And yeah, the scouting report prior to I think he was in the 2012 draft, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure. Steph Curry. I think he was in the 2012 draft, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been 2011 draft, one of those. But prior to the draft where he got drafted, his professional scouting report was that, among other things, the biggest negative against him, people said he was too skinny. They said he didn't have enough bulk, he didn't have enough muscle to make it in the NBA. Then after his first year in the NBA, he had a myriad of ankle problems. Again, so even after he came in the NBA, a lot of people was like, I don't think Steph Curry is going to be successful in the NBA. Because he sat out a lot of games with a multitude of ankle injuries. But now, in 2020, we can say the rest is history. The dude's a 2-time league MVP. He got the highest or one of the highest 3-point scoring averages in the league. He's a 3-time NBA champion. See, if he was negative, if he maintained negative and pessimistic attitudes, he wouldn't achieve shit. He would have said, oh man, fuck this NBA shit. I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna do well. Like some of you all out here, you negative, pessimistic motherfuckers. It's a wonder you still alive. And I think you get what I mean when I say that. I don't want to use the S word. But it's a wonder some of y'all still alive. Because we all know, on the most extreme level of people who are negative and pessimistic, they end up checking out. They end up checking out. Because they feel like I ain't got no hope for a better life. I ain't got no hope for happier days in the future. So they arrive at the conclusion, what's the point of living? What drives you other than the hate on people? I think that's probably what drives a lot of you negative, pessimistic motherfuckers on YouTube. If nothing else, I think what drives y'all to wake up in the morning is y'all like, ooh, I get another day I get to hate on people like Alan Roger Currie. I get to hate on them. So does Alan Roger Currie sell hope? You goddamn right I do. You goddamn right I do. You damn right I do. Hope is what makes life worth living. When black people were slaves, all they had was hope. That's all they had was hope and optimism. That's all they had. Otherwise, they probably would have killed themselves if they didn't have it. You're damn right I sell hope. But again, I wanted to make the distinction. I don't sell delusion. Now, there are some pickup artists in the manosphere over the years and some other dating coaches that have done that. They've sold delusion. I've never sold delusion. Matter of fact, if you read my 1999 or 2006 version of Mo 1, and even I want to say even my later versions of Mo 1, I start off my book in the introduction section. I start off my book eliminating any room for delusions. Like specifically, one of the things I say is, I can't remember my own words, so I'm going to be paraphrasing my own words, but in essence, I say, if you think by reading this book and applying my Mo 1 principles is going to cause you to become some type of overnight ladies' man, overnight womanizer, or significantly decrease the number of women who reject you, I said, get that out your head. Because it ain't going to happen. I basically tell guys, Mo one ain't no magic pill for becoming an overnight ladies man or overnight womanizer. Number two, it ain't no magic pill for magically diminishing your number of rejections. Matter of fact, I go as far as to say, when you Mo one, you're probably going to be rejected quicker, harsher, more straightforwardly than you ever have in your entire life. How's that for realism? I tell guys that in my book. I say, if you adopt the Mo one lifestyle, I don't say you'll be rejected more, but I say you'll be rejected quicker, in a more harsh manner, in a more straightforward manner than ever before in your life. And I basically ask the question, are you prepared for that? I say you're going to be harshly criticized and insulted by a lot of women. A lot of women are going to tell you that you're being disrespectful, that you're being too blunt, too forward, too insulting. Are you prepared for that? All men ain't made the same way. A lot of men can't handle that shit. See, I got the balls and backbone to handle that. And the guys who've been successful in adopting the Mo one lifestyle, they got the balls and backbone. Most of you guys don't. And that's what you don't want to publicly admit. You don't have the balls and backbone like Alan Roger Currie. I dare you to say you do. I triple dare you to say you do. Shoot, I ain't scared to say shit to women. Everybody who's a long time follower of mine know my stories. On the most extreme level, when I was younger, I used to go up to women and the first thing out of my mouth, before I say, hello, my name is Alan or whatever, I would say, I can't wait to see my dick slide in and out your mouth. That used to be the first thing I would say. That takes balls to say some shit like that to a woman that you ain't never talked to before, your first time meeting her. That's what Alan Roger Currie used to do when I was in my 20s, early to mid 30s. That's how hardcore I was. Most of y'all never had the balls and backbone to say no shit like that to a woman in your very first conversation with her. I did. So yes, I do sell hope. Guys need hope. I've achieved a lot of stuff because of hope. If I had to name roughly 3 things in my life that I would attribute to hope being the basis of me achieving it, if I had to go in chronological order, first thing off the top of my head would be, a lot of people don't know this, but I used to do stand-up comedy. And among my close friends and family members, one of my most notorious stories related to me being a stand-up comic was I went to audition for this citywide contest. They used to have this, it was actually a national contest they used to have in different major cities. It was sponsored by Miller Lite Beer. And in Chicago, it was called the Chicago Miller Lite Beer Stand-Up Search Contest. All the top amateur up-and-coming comedians would try to win this contest in order to enhance their career. And I remember I went to the auditions. And I'm trying to skip over miscellaneous details, but I remember I went to auditions, man, and this, speaking of negative, pessimistic people, I was sitting around with a lot of the guys talking, a lot of other comics. It was probably about, at the auditions, it probably was about 40 comics. And I'd say it was roughly about 40, and they were only going to select 10 to participate in the contest. It was about 40 comics auditioning. They were going to select 10. And I remember one of the number one questions guys was asking you, they said, how long you been doing comedy? And at the time, I auditioned for that contest. I only been doing comedy for like a month and a half. I've been doing comedy for about 6 weeks. And when I told some of the guys that, they was like, man, they started laughing. They was like, bruh, I ain't trying to be cold, man, but you need to go back home, man. And they were serious. Even though they was laughing and chuckling, they was dead serious. They was like, dude. Like, I remember there was these guys all sitting at the table. They was like, bruh, they was like, again, man, I ain't trying to be mean-spirited or negative, but you going to embarrass yourself, man. They was like, man, these comics, a lot of these comics in this room, at minimum, they've been doing comedy for a year, and some have been doing comedy for 2, 3, 4, 5+ years. Like, I tell you, someone who's fairly well known that was at that audition and in the contest with me, a woman named, man, I forget her name, Cheryl. Dang, I'm forgetting her name. I'm forgetting her last name. I know her first name. She's on the TV show, The Talk. God, I forgot her last name. Well, when I upload the video, I'll probably post her last name. I don't know why I'm forgetting her last name. But she was one of the first people the guys pointed out. They was like, see, Cheryl been doing comedy for like about 5-6 years, man. Everybody knows she gonna win this contest. Everybody knows she gonna win this contest. We just all in here really trying to get a contest to come in second place. But everybody know it's gonna be Cheryl Underwood. That's what it is. Cheryl Underwood is her name. Yeah. When I auditioned for the contest, this was in October late September 1989. She was the favorite. And there was this guy named Chuck. I think his name was Chuck Freeman, was considered the second favorite. But yeah, anyway, going back to the story, almost every guy I talked to was like, bruh, you need to go back home. And guess what? This is going to disappoint some of y'all. At least momentarily. I actually bought into that pessimistic talk. I actually bought into it, at least for a few minutes. I started leaving. Yep, I gathered my stuff, and I started walking out of the facility where the auditions were held. Because I started listening to my negative voice, my pessimistic voice. Because all of us got both. We both got an optimistic voice inside our head, and we got a pessimistic voice inside our head. And we try to keep one of those two quiet. Pessimists keep their optimistic voice quiet. Optimists keep their pessimistic voice quiet. But yeah, I started listening to my pessimistic voice, saying, oh yeah, they right, man, Alan, man. You ain't got no chance of winning this thing. You ain't even got no chance of being just a participant, man. You might as well go back to the crib. So there was this big, long, steep of stairs. And I started walking down these stairs. And then when I got midway, that's when I stopped. I said, fuck it. I ain't got nothing to lose. I was like, fuck these negative motherfuckers telling me I need to go home. I said, fuck these negative, pessimistic motherfuckers. I said, I caught the train because I lived in Gary, Indiana. I had caught the train. I didn't drive to the audition. I had caught the train. I said, man, Alan, you caught the train over here, man, because you believed in yourself. And you going to let these negative, pessimistic motherfuckers talk you out of doing what you want to do? That's what my brother, he calls that my personal Rocky talk from the movie Rocky. You know, Rocky was all about Sylvester Stallone character's sense of hope and optimism. Nah, man, when I got midway down them stairs, I was like, man, fuck these negative motherfuckers. And I came back up there. And the guys who told me to leave, they started laughing again. They was like, you back? You really gonna try to... And they kept saying, man, you gonna embarrass yourself. Long story short, not only did I become one of the 10 participants in the 1989 Miller Lite contest, despite everybody saying that Cheryl Underwood already had it wrapped up, I won that motherfucker. I won it. My name will forever be etched in history. I was, to this day, I am the only winner of that contest, the guy to win that contest with that little amount of experience. Almost everybody else who won that contest, both before me and after me, they had been doing comedy for at least like 2 or 3 years, if not longer. I'd only been doing comedy for about a month and a half to 2 months when I won that motherfucker. And guess who was one of the first people to congratulate me the night I won? Bless his soul. He's passed away now. The legendary comic Bernie Mac. I remember he came up to me the night I won. He said, Alan, man, you a funny motherfucker, man. You a funny motherfucker, man. You got a lot of original material, man. Hear that word, original? I'm known for being original, and other people copying my shit. Just saying, on a side note. But that's one of the things he said. Bernie Mac complimented me the night I won. He said, you a funny motherfucker, man. He said, the thing I loved about your comedy bits, man, all your shit was original, man. He said, a lot of these comics, they use recycled material. Doesn't that sound like the dating coaching industry? People taking other people's talking points and just recycling, repeating them and regurgitating them. But Bernie Mac, the specific compliment he gave me, he said, your shit was original. He said, that's half the reason you won, other than you just being a funny motherfucker. He said, your shit was original. Your material was original. So anyway, that's one thing I achieved in my life, primarily based on hope and optimism. Another thing I achieved, among other things in my life, was when I got into MBA school. Now, the downside of MBA school, I didn't finish, as most of my longtime followers know. It was a 2-year program. I did 1 year, and then I went out to LA that summer for an internship, and I just stayed out in LA. But getting in MBA school was a major achievement for me. I graduated undergrad from Indiana University, and their graduate business program is called the Kelley School of Business. At the time I applied to the Kelley School of Business, they were ranked as the number 5 by U.S. News and World Report. They were ranked the number 5 MBA program in the country. Probably roughly 90% of my classmates who got into that MBA program, their undergraduate GPA was a 3.5 on a 4.0 scale. It was 3.5 or higher on a 4.0 scale. You know what my undergraduate GPA was? It was something like 2.3, 2.4. Because I spent my first early years of college just fucking around, chasing pussy. Fucking. That was my number one major. I majored in fucking. I majored in womanizing. But I got serious. See, I went to school, left, and then came back and finished my undergraduate. And when I came back that second time, I was focused. I made the dean's list. I had well over a 3.0 GPA, and the admissions staff took notice to that. And matter of fact, somebody who was on the admissions staff told me, they said the main reason why I got admitted into the IU MBA program, I was probably in the top, somebody told me, inside source told me I had in the top 5 lowest GPAs of anybody in that program. But they said one reason I got in is because my senior year, I was a Dean's List scholar, and I made excellent grades in just about all my classes. And number 2, there was 4 essays you had to write to get in. And this person who gave me the inside information said, Alan, of all the essays we read, your essays blew us away. You're an excellent writer. That's why I'm an author. That's what she said. I'm not just saying that to, toot my own horn. She literally said it. She said, you're an excellent writer. She said, your 4 essays blew us away. We were sitting there after reading your essays like, dang, this dude can write. So I ended up getting in. I had some of my own close friends, man. Some of my own fraternity brothers didn't believe I was going to get into MBA school when I applied for it. They was basically like, come on, Alan, man, with your undergraduate GPA, they was basically like, man, you ain't got no chance of getting in the IU MBA program, man. That's the 5th ranked MBA program in the nation. If I didn't have hope, optimism, and if I was a negative, pessimistic motherfucker, I would have been like, yeah, you're right. Fuck it. Why am I even trying? I got in there. Ended up being one of the top leaders in the program. They had an executive board of student leaders of 5 students who were on what's known as the MBA executive board. I was the only black person on the executive board. Leader. And then the third and probably most recent that would achievement that would fall somewhat in the category of hope and optimism. Y'all know I'm married. And y'all know I got a very handsome son named Caden. That's my son. Love him to death. Do you know how many people, starting with my mid-40s up through now, had told me, because I used to tell people, starting with my early mid-40s, definitely no later than the age of roughly 45, 46, I used to tell people, I used to say, if I get married, it's going to be to a woman that's 35 and younger because I wanted children. I said, the only reason I would get married is because I want children. Man, I can't tell you how many people, I ain't even talking about people I don't even just didn't know, period, or just casually. I'm talking about people close to me. I'm talking about people like within my own family. Basically said to me, Alan, you being a bit delusional, bro. I mean, you a good-looking guy, you charismatic, but man, I don't know, man. Unless you a millionaire, close to being a millionaire, you ain't gonna pull no good-looking woman under the age of 35, bro. You ain't gonna pull no woman under the age of 35. I had a number of people tell me that. A lot of people told me, they said, man, your days of wanting to get married and raise a family, them days are over. If I would have been a negative, pessimistic person, I would have bought into that. I would have said, yeah, you're right. My boat has sailed. But I didn't. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I love both. I had a guy write me on Facebook just the other day. He said, Alan, I got to tell you, man, one of the things you've inspired me is that a man can become a father at any age. And we ain't including using some kind of surrogate that you pay for. Some young woman as a surrogate to have your kid. I'm talking about a woman you actually in a relationship with. All you negative motherfuckers, pessimistic motherfuckers, can kiss my black ass. Vindication.